My name's John, and this is the Games in 60 Minutes channel, and today I'm bringing you a special stream. I'm joined by my better half, Tasha.
Not better. Not better.
Jeez, when I say that.
I do. Makes me crazy pants.
This is a series we call Divorce Stream, where we pick a game that we can co-op in together, and typically we play really frantic and hair-pulling games, but today we're actually doing something a little different. Today we're going to do Farm Together, which is actually a very chill game. This is actually a lot of fun. It's been a very crazy week, and so I think having a nice chill game for today is going to be a good thing. So I think this is really cool. We started playing this, I think, a couple weeks ago.
Something like that.
Yeah, and yeah, we've been pretty hooked. So it's very casual, like the game says, you farm, you do it together. But it's a very chill game. It's not quite like it's not quite a sim the way the, like, say, Farming Simulator is, but you're still doing a lot of the farming. But what's cool about it is it's got like a lot of there's like crafting and a lot of other elements. Like you can build houses and decorate them and stuff like that. So it kind of goes a little bit beyond just the farming. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So we are gonna check that out. So yeah, without further ado, let's switch over and fire up the game. So Tasha's gonna start by firing up the game, and then I'm gonna join her farm.
Yes, I have a farm. So one of the things I love about it is that you can like customize stuff. So like, here's my little farmer girl who is 100 times cooler than I am. With her backpack and her little nose ring and stuff. So, but you have all this stuff that you can pick, clothes and faces and hair and that. But you also have pets, and pets are great. I like pets. So I have a little black cat. So that's my pet. I haven't found a new thing I like better. I like that. Nah, too spicy. Okay. So you get back so John can get it. So yeah, we started, we were like, oh, we could play this game together, so let's just check it out. And then like literally every day since then we've been playing. It's pretty bad. So this is our farm of doom.
Alright, so
That's our farm map.
now I'm gonna join her multiplayer. One thing I like too about this is it's actually pretty. You don't really have to go through a lot of hoops to play multiplayer. It just uses basically, as long as your friends in Steam, everything just kind of works. When you have a farm, you kind of set the permissions on it. So if you don't want anybody joining your farm, then you can set it that way. Or you can just kind of say like, well, friends can join, but nobody else can, right? So, and then what you can do as a friend who's joining a game, you just go to find farms, and then, if you have friends with them, they'll pop up at the top, and you can like mark them as a favorite, and just hop on in. So it makes it's really a, they definitely make it pretty easy, and I definitely appreciate that. I've played some other multiplayer games where you have to definitely go through some more hoops.
We get tractors too. That's my tractor. That's my pet, and then there's John's pet who ran off.
Yeah, it's because I ran off.
Gotta go tractor.
Yeah, so the first order of business every time I hop in this game is I have to hit the gas station so I can get gas for my tractor. There's one thing about the multiplayer: when you hop into somebody else's game, you'll never have any gas to start with. If you're working on your own farm, it'll remember however much gas you left off with. But something about the multiplayer, it like forgets that. But anyway, we got like right now I'm running, right, but hit the L button and I can go to my tractor. And the thing is, when you're just solo, you can only operate on one square at a time. But when you're in a tractor, then you can go up to like a 3x3 square, right? So you very quickly get addicted to the tractor.
Very, very quickly.
So what I'm doing right is, first I harvest, and then I replow my lands so that I can plant something later.
We've kind of hit the point where we're trying to unlock different things. Like we just bought this piece of property because it's not road connected it yet. So we've got a new piece of property up here that we're going to start putting some animals in. So they're kind of free roaming over here. We got some free range Jersey cows and some free range alpacas and stuff. So we're gonna move some stuff around today, I'm sure. And a whole bunch of bunnies. Bunnies, it might be bunnies. But yeah.
So I'm tweaking the volume a little bit, so hopefully the balance between game and voices is a little bit better. So one of the things about harvesting is you only have so much storage, right? So here I'm bringing up a list of like all the various different things I have, and if you look at there's one entry right at the top right which shows that I no longer have any storage for grapes, so I need to go and sell my grapes. So I'm gonna hop over here. This little station here is where it's called a grape juice stand. So what this will do is this will exchange. So I just exchanged 40 grapes and I got some diamonds in return. The thing about this game is it has several different currencies. You have, kind of like your standard coins or money for like planting crops and stuff. But there's also the notion of diamonds, and diamonds you can use to buy like buildings and certain other things. You have to spend diamonds on. There's other currencies as well that you'll use, but yeah, diamonds is what I was just getting here for this. But yeah, the only thing that sucks about the stand is you can only sell 40 grapes at a time, and then you have to wait for it to recharge. You can get better. You can get a better version of this later, where you can sell more at a time, and that definitely makes it easier.
I think we can now get that one.
Yeah, I think we've unlocked it. I think we just didn't get around to buying it yet. So you'll notice from the level up message too, right, as you're playing this, everything, just about everything in the game has a level to it, right? So like crops, you level up crops, so the more you plant them and harvest them, then you'll get, the crops will level up and you'll make more money off of them. You have animals, as Tasha was talking about, those level up as well. You as a person, your farmer levels up, and the farm that you're working on also levels up. So just about, like I said, just about everything has a level, and various things unlock as you level things up.
Let's see.
I'm probably about to be full on grapes again, so I'm gonna go see if I can.
Do you want to see if we can get the big grape stand yet?
Yeah. Let's take a look. Let's see. Buildings. Look for. Is it the fruit? No, the fruit press is not it.
Might be.
No, fruit press is that's
different.
That's fruit, not grapes. I'm looking at there are many buildings to go through.
Yes, there really are. All right.
Like so many buildings and houses and pirate hideouts.
There is pirate hideouts, and those are cool. The houses are amazing. Like right now, we have a Japanese pagoda and we have a Viking longhouse as our two houses, because you have recipes, which is kind of your crafting component. Gonna play Stone Park now. Oop, my donkeys. My donkeys!
I am not seeing the fruit thing.
Alright, maybe we can't get it yet.
Yeah, or the grape thing.
Okay. So this is our Viking house that I'm about to hop in. I've got to do some. You get tickets to decorate your house. As you can tell, we've done no decorating whatsoever in our house, except to kind of put down the real basic earning devices, I guess you would call them. So, I have 2 stoves, a piano, and an easel. And I think the bed came with it, and I think I bought 2 nightstands, and that's pretty much the extent of what I bought for the house. At some point, I'll go crazy and decorate.
I ended up just buying a second grape juice stand.
That works. Here is the pagoda. Which, for ease of use, I just stuck everything in the same room.
Blueberry muffins.
Blueberry muffins.
Alright, now I'm moving on to harvesting celery.
Fruit salad. Fish there, good enough to finish that fish curry. And now the whole ranch leveled up.
Which means we may or may not have unlocked something new. In your earlier levels, you're constantly unlocking new stuff, but as you start to get into the higher levels, it kind of slows down a bit.
I unlocked the milk truck, which doesn't seem good right now.
Oh yeah, we barely make any milk. Like, and what we make, we need. So you probably need to buy some more cows at some point.
Alright, so we have a jam stall.
Okay.
Does that make jam, or does that... I guess that makes jam. How do you make jam?
Wait, hold on. Let me bring that up so I can see what you're talking about.
Oh, the fruit press takes fruit and turns it into jam, and then the jam stall takes...
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Nice.
Alright, what have I moved on to next? These are the... Oh, these are those black currants. We just unlocked these last night.
Yeah, we have a castle. I'm definitely looking forward to the castle. And a grog distillery.
Give me mead,
right.
wench. Bring me my mead.
So I'm going to tell y'all why we call it Divorce Stream. we read somewhere or had, hey Rad! We read somewhere or had someone tell us, and neither one of us can remember which, never ever ever play video games with your spouse because you will end up divorced. And of course, we cackled maniacally about that because not only do we play video games together all the time, we met on a video game. Shit. What are we up to now, John? 18 years together?
Sounds about right.
I think this year is our 16th wedding anniversary.
We met in the original EverQuest,
Yep.
circa 2000.
Circa 2000, and started dating around circa 2002. So yeah, pretty much we are the absolute descriptor for we're going to get divorced for playing video games together. Pretty sure that's going to happen imminently if he's asking for his meeting. To the moon, Alice. was your problem, Brad. It had nothing to do with the grass. Over here with some agave. We've kind of almost hit the point where we have to like harvest the entire farm before we can plant anything, because we're trying to unlock particular vegetables, and we don't know exactly what we need for those vegetables other than you have to have other vegetables at a particular level. So it's like, well, if we get the new vegetable, then we want to plant the new vegetable.
Yeah, let me, I'm gonna bring up an example so I can, let me find one here to show. Yeah, like this one, right? So here's, on my screen, right? So here's a plant where, we have the farm up to the required level, but it doesn't unlock until we get chili pepper leveled up to level 10, and right now we're still at level 9, so we haven't unlocked whatever that plant is. So we're trying to like focus on those kind of things where we have enough level, but we need other plants to unlock, or other crops to unlock the new crops. Okay. Let's see here.
Yeah, you can only plant peppers during certain times of the year, which is always fun. Is this a pepper? Is this a pepper time?
Oh,
Clove tree.
I leveled up myself.
Yay! Oh, we can cut yellow peppers.
Nice.
Guess I'll go ahead and start doing that. We're about out of fall.
Okay.
So if I don't start doing it now, we're not going to get any down.
Yeah, I need to throw down some chili peppers next time those come up.
Yes. Yeah.
So the thing about, yeah, I guess we should explain the thing about seasons, right? So, the game's kind of a real-time game. You plant crops and they take anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 days before you can harvest them. The seasons change every, I think they said 17 or 18 minutes in the game. And what the seasons do, the seasons govern what you're able to plant. And so, some plants you can plant all year long. Other plants you have to like, they're only available in like a couple of seasons or a single season.
Get your fish. Your fish in your fountain. Apricots down the night.
Trees, yeah, they have so many different things. Like I'll show you the shop here, right? So these are all the crops you've got. You've got crops, you've got trees. Oh, there we just crossed over into winter. Here's all the different trees you can get. You've got a whole bunch of animals. And we still have a ton of animals we haven't unlocked yet.
Oh yeah. Are the animals in the same thing?
Fish.
Yes.
We've got fish. We've got these are we have a Venus flytrap now.
Nice.
That's awesome.
We should plant some of those just for
Mhm.
fun.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Ooh, leeks. We need leeks for something, right?
And yeah, so we've got plants. Then you get into the buildings. I was looking at these earlier, right? So buildings are a mix of like houses that you can live in and buildings that will do various cool things.
They do not currently have greenhouses in the game, but yeah, that would be amazing if they ever get around to that.
And then you've got, here's a whole section for like decorative stuff, which we've barely touched this actually. We've been so focused on the farm, we haven't gotten around to really decorating yet. But you'll notice all the decorations cost diamonds, and this kind of gets back into what I was talking about earlier, right? So you spend coins to plant crops, and when you harvest, you make coins back and extra, right? You make profit, but the vegetables go in your inventory, and then you can sell them, and when you sell them, you'll get diamonds, and then the diamonds you can use on buildings and decorations and stuff. These are like fences and walls and stuff like that. So these are good for like for your pins for like your animals and all of that. And then finally there's a section for like different for like building roads and paths and stuff. So you don't have to have roads in your game, but if you have a road, you'll travel a lot quicker when you're on it. So
Oh yeah.
it does definitely kind of be easy to build out some road infrastructure.
John's our road builder.
And the other cool thing, we haven't really messed with them yet, but they also have like points of interest, so you can like teleport around. Which is good because if you haven't really noticed yet, right, your farms can get really huge. There's like an in-game map, right? So if you look at this, right, you can kind of see that the plots are kind of rectangular, right? And we've unlocked, I think, 8 of them, right? But if you look, there's still like an enormous part of our map that we haven't bought yet, that we haven't unlocked. Like, so we haven't even unlocked like half of what we could feasibly still get. So they will, and even just what we have now is like a lot.
It's huge, enormous.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either. Oh, we got some strawberries. That's cool. Strawberries are like a day and a half crop, so good to get those.
Yeah, this is why I was saying that we're almost at the point where we have to like. We have radish? No, we didn't have radishes before. Radishes are new. We have a lot of radishes. It's that's a 6-hour crop.
Nice.
Yeah, cabbages usually level 12. Fun.
What level do I have up to now?
Number 7.
All right. So yeah, we got a little ways to go.
Yeah, we're at that point now where it's like everything is like, oh, you need level 30 in carrots. Okay. No, I don't know what weird ass carrot we're gonna get for that, but we'll get to level 30 in carrots. Eventually. At some point. Then you got your quests that you work on.
Yeah, I wonder if we should unlock another one.
Well, let's see. We've got some Jersey cows that we're waiting on them to pop. Fish.
So the thing about quests are, when you do quests, the quest rewards, you get medals, which is almost like yet another currency. And those will unlock, like there's certain buildings and other things that you have to spend medals on rather than diamonds. Now the thing is, all these currencies sound annoying, but I mean, keep in mind that like there's no real microtransactions. Like you don't have to, it's not trying to get you to spend money on this stuff. The only thing you spend money on in the game is they have a bunch of DLC that adds like houses and plant types and stuff like that.
John had the base game, and so we bought the base game. And then, like, I don't know, 20 minutes in, I'm like, we're going to be buying all the DLC now. And he was like, okay.
I spotted this game, and I'm like, this is a Tasha game.
This is a Tasha game.
This is, I knew that she would love this game as soon as I came across it. And actually, the funny thing was, I didn't realize I had it. Actually, when I first came across it, I was just looking for some co-op games to play together. And I came across this, and I'm like, oh, this is a Tasha game. And then I'm like, oh, wait. It's in my library already. I'm sure I got this through Humble.
Probably.
That's where most of my games come from these days.
Yeah. Oh, I think I forgot to do that too. Let's see it. Got some watermelons out.
Although at least thanks to this stream, I'm definitely playing through more of my backlog now than I used to. I gotta go, I gotta sell some veggies. We are full. Look at that. We have storage for 940 veggies, and we have filled them up.
We probably need to buy another Red Barn.
Nice thing, at least with the veggie truck, at least with those, they don't make you wait.
Yeah.
Like the stands, you have to wait for them to recycle, but the truck just lets you dump off all you want.
Dump and go, dump
Yeah.
and go.
Alright. Yeah, so there. Now we got 150 more diamonds. Oh, okay, so you got that field.
Yeah.
It looks like our, is this corn?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like our corn's up.
Do you ever listen?
What?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
What?
Spreadsheets.
Medicare forms.
Oh, baby. So, the other day, John, of course, has been working from home for about 15 years now. And I'm working at home randomly, depending on, the day. And we were both, I think, aggravated at something at work. I don't even remember how the hell this actually started. And it just seemed like the perfect thing to do, to talk about his spreadsheets and my Medicare forms in, Marilyn Monroe sexy voice. Because that just totally makes sense to anyone out there.
I think I think it was just one of those days where we were both just working on really tedious work. And,
Anything to make the day go faster.
it was just, yeah. Oh, I'm out of gas.
I think, I was like, there should be a gas pump over here. I know we bought another gas station.
I swear that's what we spend all our metals on. We keep spending all our metals on gas stations because we're addicted to our tractors.
That's right. You got anywhere that gas?
We're huffing that gas.
And that guy used to snort cocaine off the toilet in the Woodsmillion bathroom. Or the guy that huffed all the air out of the whipped cream.
I'm so glad I don't work retail.
God, dude, it's terrible.
I feel for anybody who does. Especially these days, man.
God.
It's like, as if you didn't have enough to deal with, have some COVID.
Have some COVID. And some people that are just so excited to be outside that they're going to be even more of the normal assholes than they are on a good day. So, yeah, it's fun.
I have a friend who works at Walmart, and he was complaining about how people would leave gloves. They'd wear their gloves, and they'd leave them like in the parking lot, right, all over the place. And I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like, yeah, don't you miss those days when people wore gloves?
Oh no. Alright, let's see. What are we doing?
I think we've just about harvested everything at this point.
Alright, so
I think we're gotta figure out what to plant next.
cheddar cauliflower, we unlocked that.
Ooh, cheddar call. I hadn't heard of that.
Well, it unlocks in clover spring.
Okay. Did you put down any radishes yet? Because you were
No.
Not
Not
yet.
put down any. I'm choking on my
Hack. Cough hack. Alright.
dying for pepperoni, no. I did not put any radishes down, so put down some radishes. We still need like 15 levels of jicama. Let's see here. We need here. Need some more black peppercorn, which I'm pretty sure is not actually in season yet. We need yellow peppers. Cabbage. Chili pepper. Red goji berries. Tomatoes. Strawberries. I gotta put down some leaks because we need another level of leak. I think I got some leak working.
Alright, I decided to get us a new quest.
Okay.
Where'd it go? Ace of Trades. So we've got another Ace of Trades.
Okay.
Their quest names are not terribly random. This one is for a bunch of yellow hibiscus. We have 10 planted and we need 130, and then 120 wasabi. All wasabi.
Thankfully, wasabi is not up yet. I want to move it. The thing that I love about this game is that you can move anything. So, like, you don't have to, like, sell it and start over or any of that stuff. You can just go, oh, I don't know why I put this there. I'm going to move this somewhere else, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely handy because as you keep expanding your farm, you'll find that you need to kind of move things around a little bit.
So much need to move things around. Yeah, I think the worst one I saw with the gloves was this medical worker. I was at Costco, she took her gloves off and left them in the buggy. And I was just like, really, lady? I know you know better than that. You know, kind of a thing.
Alright, let's see what else we need. I planted a bunch of radishes.
And if you're in your tractor, you can move multiple things at once. Even better. Our poor daughter, so our kid comes in and she's like, what are you playing? We're like, we're playing farm together. So she starts looking at it. And she's like, this game looks like fun. And I'm like, well, let me send you a copy. So I send her a copy of the game. And now she is more addicted than I am.
We've not heard from her since.
Yes, we haven't seen her since then. But the funniest part is I was sitting there and it was like the night I sent it to her, and I get this phone call, and all I get is, how do you sell nuts? And I was like, you have to wait till you get a nut stand. Okay. I was gonna Google it, but I figured this was faster. Thanks, Mom. Like, it's like, okay.
Mom's giving advice since 1933.
Mom, how do I sell nuts?
So Red says he used to own a tractor. That's pretty cool. Of course, virtual farming's a lot more relaxing than real farming.
God, yes. Don't worry about things going crazy. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So, stick with my virtual farming.
I actually played the farming simulator and it's kind of fun, but man, does it gets kind of crazy. Like, it has so many machines in it, and like half of them you don't know what they do or how they work. Like, it's kind of crazy actually, but I mean, but I get why people like it though, just because they really go out there in terms of all the different machinery you can get. Let's see what else.
It's gonna be like donkey and cow land over here, John. On the other side of this bridge.
Okay.
We need some roads over here, dude.
Yeah. Gotta work on that.
Yeah, when we first started playing this game, I was really getting upset because when you only have one or two of each creature, they only walk around on like their one little square. And I'm like, I don't like this, it feels mean.
Oh, our poor animals are all starving.
Oh, horse cocky. I fed them when we started playing.
They eat like horses.
They eat like crazy things. Okay. Season change. So this is the season that we can plant a bunch of stuff.
Alright, let me go figure out where to build some roads. Let's see.
Build roads, I'll plant a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna have to move the cows and just make this donkey again. Let's see. Get the cows. I've got some roads that are unbuilt, so
Yeah.
that's kind of nice. We have a lot of donkeys. A lot of different varying kinds of donkeys. Apparently we're free range farmers. So, yeah. Very neat. Let's see. Alright, we need chili peppers. Right, John?
Yes.
Chili peppers going down. Yeah, we keep thinking we're gonna run out of things to do. Eventually we just get tired and go. Those things, but you know, it's a little fraud out there. So just kinda yeah. See, I've never played a Harvest Moon game. I know a lot of people are very, very excited for Story of Seasons. So alright. There's a lot of tomatoes in here that people want. It's level 15 of chili pepper. Jesus Christ. Okay, so we're gonna need a lot of chili peppers. How's everybody out there doing? So we're just kind of, you know, we're preparing for a very tiny home convention. We found mixers, so we're gonna have lots and lots and lots of booze. So there will be day drinking. Other than that, try not to catch any diseases. Alright, back 40 again. Let's see.
I got a decent bit of roads down now.
Yay, roads.
What else do we need?
Honest to God, we could probably still use some chili peppers because we have one big basket. I'm doing goji berries because I didn't think we need one more level of these to unlock something. And then I was gonna go to tomatoes.
You find those chili peppers. Here they are.
Okay, move to tomatoes. Oh yeah, it's a pretty stupid little game.
Yep. Yeah, it's so relaxing. It puts you to sleep.
Pretty much where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Whee! Sorry. We laugh because we ran out of money on the regular in this game. Or just like, oops. My bad.
Yeah, I think that pretty much got us good on roads for a while. Till the next batch of land we buy. no, that's a new one. There's a clove tree that costs metals, and you harvest it for diamonds.
Nice. Well, so we're finding another filling station.
As always.
Sounds like a good plan for that.
I need to find a new. Year is starting up in Orchard, right?
I was working on it, but I haven't got very far because the game didn't roll back.
So where were you?
Near where those ginkgo biloba trees were.
Oh, that I just harvested. Okay, got it.
That really rocky piece of land looked like a pain in the ass for.
Oh yeah, so like, kind of like up top, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm up here now. All right.
So it looked like a pain in the tuchus for doing any kind of good amount of farming
Yeah.
because of the way that everything's broken up. But for orchards, it wouldn't be too bad. Just try to set everything up in packs of 9 as best as you can. It's a weird day. We're really quiet.
Yeah, we are. Well, that is the thing about this game. It's so relaxing. It's like it does kind of just kind of fade into the game a bit. I am greatly expanding our orchard. Thankfully, we have a lot of money at this point, so I'm buying like all the trees we don't have.
That's fine. I'm just moving trees.
Ah, there's this thing.
Definitely think we need to invest in some points of interest now.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt that's for sure coming up.
Yeah, I think we are now expanding to the point where that's going to make our lives a lot simpler. Some of the trees will have to be like replanted. You know. Yeah, rain. I like rain. Rain auto waters your crops for you. Hey Rob, welcome back. Wait, you're not back? Uh-oh. Brad and Fox are going to be bonding. Broom Factory 5.
Now I get to harvest all these trees I just planted with the change seasons. Or at least some of them.
It's fine.
We have a veritable forest now.
It's about to get worse, man.
Oh, I believe it.
Cleaning out around the bus stop.
Yeah. Yes.
Pine trees that you have one of, or
Well, a little bit of both. And at this point, I've finished doing the path. Like, I think I've gone through all the trees at this point, so.
it's like we have one of that tree. Whatever that tree, carob tree.
Okay, yeah, I planted some of those up here.
Okay.
Yeah, that may be a pain fucking. I think they're over here on the left side.
Let's recycle this.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, there was like 6 random plants. Like,
Yeah.
I think they were melons, and then this like circular, it's like Let's worship the melons. I don't know what the point of that was.
Let's worship the melons. Wow. My brain went to bad places, and it was not for this game. Just saying.
Yeah, I kind of love it. We do kind of have a forest now.
It's about to get worse. I haven't moved the apple trees yet.
No. Yeah, I'm done buying stuff. We've got everything at this point.
No, that's not a character.
Oh, we can get ostriches now.
Yes, yes, dear, we can get an ostrich. Here's the characters.
Gotta head back over to our pins. Our new pin area. Oh, and there's fencing to be built. I see.
There's fencing to be moved and fencing to be built. More donkeys to move to. We're gonna lose Fox for about 4 weeks, where we won't see him at all. The Story of Seasons comes out. Yeah, here's the only thing there, dude, is that there's all these trees that we have like one of over here that now we can't fit in the orchard because. So we're gonna just, I think we should spread them out a little bit more. Anything?
Yeah, if you want. I
Was
mean,
firm.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. The problem was I didn't know which. I probably should have paid a little more attention to the ones we had one of, but I wasn't really thinking about either of those over there. So yeah, didn't really think that all the way out.
Okay. It's just if you want to kind of keep the same trees together. If not,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. You can also just make sure they're in lists of 9. You know.
No, that was a lot trickier to do just because the landscape didn't exactly lend itself well to that. So I put them in groups, but not necessarily of 9.
Yes. If I put a point of interest out Display a point of interest. Let's see how this does. Oh, God, that's easier. Sorry.
Does that work?
I don't know yet, but it was easier getting back here. Yes, it does work.
Nice.
Alright, are we gonna keep these things out here, or are we gonna recycle this and just make this all orchard?
Are we keeping what out where?
Are we gonna keep all these plots out here?
We don't have to. I don't really. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other spaces we can put those random plants. So,
Yeah.
because what's it like a plot of like what 12?
Yeah, there's a couple of.
I mean, it's yeah, they're
plots.
like tiny, so it doesn't really matter. Just came across some random bamboo out here.
Ooh, really? That was nice.
Harvest those. Oh, we got all these cows off by themselves.
Yes, I put them out by themselves because that way when we get more cows, we can just add them to the cows. Oh, wait, are you talking about the cows that I haven't moved yet? Because there's cows over here and then there's donkeys on the other side because there's more donkeys to move.
Uh-huh.
So all the donkeys can go together. So I moved the cows over here so that when we got more cows, we could put cows there.
Right.
And then when we got more donkeys, we would have space for more donkeys.
Okay.
Because they all eat off the same food.
Right.
You bought ostriches.
I did.
You bought a lot of ostriches.
I did.
Okay. This game has donkeys. Yes, it has ostriches and donkeys and bunches of weird shit like that. Okay, I'm gonna go spend all of our medals on points of interest. FYI.
Okay.
Not all of them, but, you know, a few. Okay, so one here.
Moving fences around is occasionally a pain in the rump.
Moving fences around is often a pain. Pop open your map. Tell me if there's anywhere else you want one.
Oh, so they're numbered.
Yep.
1, 2. And then the bus counts as one, right?
The bus counts as one.
I think that's a good start, actually.
Yeah. It's kind of because the
You've
bus
got
stop.
'em-
The bus stop's kind of in the middle there.
Exactly. And you've got one up top, one up bottom, and then a couple on the left. So yeah, that
Yeah.
seems.
That 2 is going to be closer to where the animals are
Uh-huh.
because I think we're moving most of them over there.
Yeah.
So even if we don't move over there, we've got that pond of fish, so it's not too far to get there. One is where we're moving all the trees and stuff, so that's easy there. And then between 4 and the bus stop, we've got most of that. And if we need to do one, the only other thing I thought about doing was putting one kind of in the center, but like between 3 and the bus stop in the center in the north. Like, you see where the big pond is? Kind of like putting one up there, but
Yeah.
you know.
I think this is a good start. How much do those cost, by the way?
4 medals each.
Oh, that's not so bad.
No, it's not. And we've still got 29 medals left, so there's still enough to put another actual gas station if we wanted one.
The only tree I didn't plant a lot of was the chive tree because they cost like 2 medals each, so I just planted a couple of those.
Yeah. Alright, we need a wasabi for a quest, right?
Yes.
Alright, we'll plant some wasabi as the leaves are up.
Yeah, I like how they number the...
Yes. One of my few aggravations about this game is like how many you can only have one quest pin.
Yes.
We unlocked spinach.
I wish, yeah, I badly wish they'd let you pin a few more.
Yes.
It's not like there isn't room.
Yes. Did you hear me? We unlocked spinach.
Nice.
I think that's what the league one was.
Are we gonna try and consolidate our fish at some point?
We can. We can have a giant fish pond somewhere. The one thing it does that John thought was pretty cool, and I agree, is that predator fish get their own ponds. So like when you buy piranha and shit, they don't put them in with anything else.
Yep. Yeah, I have like a school of piranha by themselves, and then I have like these hammerhead sharks. They're hanging out by themselves, and our angler fish have their own little predator space.
But the blowfish and the koi and all of that stuff, they're all fine. They're all like, whatever, man. Alright, so we've got some 10-minute crops we can put down.
Okay.
We don't have any space left if we just want to make money real fast. I think most of our fields are filled with longer running crops.
Alright, so I bought us some more fish. I noticed we had a few new fish that we hadn't planted any of yet, so I have seeded. We now have at least a couple of every kind of fish. Oh, interesting. So there is a fish that we have to get clownfish up to level 10
Yeah.
to unlock the. How do we? What's our clownfish? Fine.
Status.
Yeah.
What is the clownfish status today?
Oh, we only have 4 clownfish. I'm gonna fix that.
Okay.
That way we can work on getting that leveled up and unlock whatever the mystery fish is. There. Alright. All the fish.
Always.
I will be right back. I'm gonna grab a drink. No, you have a soda.
I have a soda and I have a water. So. We do need more clownfish, and that's the funny part is, you know, just like you start buying them, and then all of a sudden you get this thing where it's like, oh, now I need 200 ducklings. Fantastic. Apparently, there's an achievement for that. Like if you have one field that has like 100 ducks or 100 chickens in it, you get an achievement for it. It's true there. It's probably true there. Alright, we'll move these donkeys. It is a lot of ducks. It's a lot of duck poop, which is why it's really nice to have this kind of farming instead of real farming, because thankfully they do not have to be in a row, nor do they have to be in a rave. They just kind of have to be. I still think this is too many, you know, critters per pen, but what do I have to say? We're still just. I was telling them that there's an achievement for having like 100 ducks and or 100 chickens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like in a plot kind of a thing. So,
Nice.
yep. Let's move some more trees. Where's this people line?
You know, we already have a pretty big fish farm going where we're at, so maybe what I'll do is I'll actually like move the crops that are around it and then just turn and just expand it from like move the other fish we have to here and just make one giant fish farm out of it.
Yeah, the problem is we have 2 giant fish farms. So,
So yeah, it'll take some work. Although I think this one actually, I thought this one was bigger than the other one. I'll have to go look.
well, if you look on the map, you'll see. Yeah, I mean, that's this one. And then that's this. Because it's got kind of multiples. that's got like the wasabi thing going. That's chili peppers. Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is the mulch corner. Where's the other one?
The other one's up here. Look at your OBS screen. I got people work for you.
So it's just this one, right?
Yeah.
So this is like way smaller than the other
Yeah.
one. Like I can easily, because this is like, honestly, this is like, what, about 20 squares? Like this is like 2 or 3 moves with the tractor, right? So,
I don't think you can move them with the tractor.
what?
I don't think you can move.
Blasphemy!
Okay.
Oh
We
man.
can try, but I think you can only move them. with-
Wait. Well,
No, you can. Okay, sweet. It is letting me pick up what looks like 9. Cause I swear I tried it and it like did not want to let me tractor those.
yeah, I got it. Match of 9.
Not that that's gonna do us a lot of good right now, being that I don't know that there's space for those. Cause here's the thing:
Yeah, I
is
need to move.
remember you've got this edge,
Yeah.
so you can't. You're still gonna basically have 2 ponds.
But at least they'll be by each other, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But yeah, I think we can cancel this move.
No, I can move. I'm gonna move these fields.
Yeah.
I'll move the fields. You just get the farm. Yeah. It's gonna take me a second. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. He's over here. It's close. Oh, ducks. Hang on. You gotta. I forgot you gotta prep the land before you move the crop.
Yeah.
Let me prep this land real quick, and then I'll come prep the crops because I'm not that far away. You want to put them here?
Yeah, I'll put it there to start with. I don't mind the concept of 2 separate ponds because what we may do is like move the predators into their own little spaces,
Yeah.
right? So we don't actually need like one. It doesn't have to be one continuous pond anyway.
There you go.
Right.
You might be able to put it into one contiguous pond going that direction.
This is weird. I only number 3. Oh wait. No wait. Now you. Ah, what the heck? What the hell? Somehow I went from having 9 fish to 3. I don't know what happened there, but that's all right.
Is it because I moved 9
I
fish?
have no idea. It probably got confused when I was trying to cancel the fish.
Wait, fish, you are canceled. Alright, let me go figure out another place to put this.
Yeah, it's just random. So random. Anyway,
I'm gonna harvest this. And then move the stuff here where this I'm harvesting it from. Instead of trying to make new lands. So our daughter was playing this game, and it took her, she was moving stuff around on her farm. And 2 hours later, she figured out she could move things, multiple things at one time with the tractor. And she was a little aggravated about that.
she was a little salty.
She was definitely.
Well, just 2 hours moving stuff, one at a time, and then
figured out.
right after discovering.
There was some grumpy there.
I can fix the pond once it's fully moved.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I'm definitely moving it over in weird,
Yeah.
strange chunks.
Well, I've got that 9 spot, like, up from the pond anyway. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's one of the things we do like is that you can just kind of go, oh, I don't like this configuration anymore. Okay. I'll find some other way to do it. Also, there's none of this sleeping shit like you have in Stardew. Like, fuck sleep. Who needs to sleep? Farm all day, farm all night.
Alright, we're in the last batch of fish.
Last batch of Hey, good babe. There's some fishies. Some yellow peppers, huh? Let's see, what do we want to plant? That's a jicama. That's a 10-minute crop. Oh yeah, she was so grumpy. She's managed to get her schedule like completely backwards, and so she thought we were laughing about the fact yesterday. So I was like, I'm cleaning like a crazy person, and singing and dancing and acting a fool. And I was like, I was really amazed I didn't wake you up while I was doing all of this. She's like, well, I woke up because you guys were laughing, and she said, I thought you were laughing because it was like 2:45 and I still was in bed. I was like, no, we were laughing because we were out of forks. So forks in our house have a very fun story. Our daughter, in her teenage years, was a slob. And she, at that age, your room is your everything. And so you live in your room, it's your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen, your computer room, your everything. And there was one time where I was like, Jess, we have to clean your room because we have no more forks. There are no forks left in the house. And she was like, I don't have any forks in my room. And I was like, I'm not saying that you have any forks in your room, but in case you do, we can't find any, and we really just need to find them. She was like, fine. So we're fine, exactly, fine. So we're in her room, which has also contained a spam puck, which is John's favorite story. And somehow a chicken bone that became bendy, and we're still not really sure how that happened. Because it was literally like you could do this with it. And, ooh, snow! It's snowing, John, it's snowing. So I'm in there and I'm helping her clean her room, and it's like, oh look, a fork! And then 2 minutes later, oh look, a fork! And another 2 minutes go by, oh look, a fork! And I'm pretty sure we pulled probably about 10 forks out of her room that day. And, yeah.
She was not amused.
She was not amused, though she did eventually start giggling at the fact of, you know, where the forks were hiding. But yesterday the forks were missing because nobody's done dishes in a while. So, yes. Yeah, John should tell the spam puck story. If you're dying over the fork one, the spam puck is beautiful.
Yeah, we had, what happened was we had spam for dinner, and I think it was like spam and mac and cheese, and I guess Jess had dropped a piece of spam and had never picked it up, and so we came across it like months later, and the spam had just hardened, and it was still roughly like, you know, we cut the spam into slices, so it was still roughly in the shape of a slice of spam, but it had hardened into this puck. And we have at the time the house we had wooden floors, and so I started kicking the spam puck, skipping it across the floor like I was playing soccer. And yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. Nobody that tells me that teenage girls are neat, I never believe them. Because I'm like, I was a teenage girl, and honestly, she gets it honest, because I was, my nickname was Trasha, because my room always looked like hell. Oh no, she knows we tell these stories. She's probably on here going, God, Mom. But like now, her room is really neat. Like she was sitting there yesterday going, my room's messy. And I'm thinking, your room looks better than the rest of the house. And look, there's no forks up here. But, yeah, just trust me. She has me as a mom. She's very used to finding out that people know all of her weird stories and secrets. What was mine? Mine was like, my worst room thing was glasses. I mean, back then, you know, soda cans were prohibitively expensive in my childhood. And so we drank a lot of tea, and we drank a lot of water and juice and stuff. Well, they drank water, I drank tea. And so I remember sitting there and thinking, you know, my mother gets so mad because I would always have glasses in my room, always. And it was like the fork story, except that glasses. There would not be a glass left in the house because they would all be in my room. Yeah, without it, they would all be in my room. I don't know how John was. How are you?
What, as far as
a teenage boy in your room?
it was typical teenage boy room.
Smells like cack rags and
I mean, well, I didn't get away with the whole, like, you know, the dishes would pile up to an extent, but you know, my folks didn't let me get away with that too long.
Yeah.
But my room was rarely clean.
Yeah.
It was usually a mess. God, it looks so weird over here with the trees gone.
Right?
Oh, wow.
I need a lot of jicama.
Yeah, we're actually pretty close to full on fruit, so that sounds sweet.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there's just more trees here in a minute. I'm just planting some stuff before I do it. Yeah, I was a terribly messy teenage girl. The other gas station, that's what I like. Gas stations look like they're purple. Red? You know what's funny? I think that gas station that we bought, I think it got rolled back too. 'Cause I don't see us having a second gas station anymore. You know what I'm talking about? Where we bought the
Yeah.
second gas station?
Stupid wax.
We have this weird, there's this weird thing that happens with this game sometimes, and we're not sure if it's because sometimes my computer freezes up and I crash, or what, but sometimes it seems almost like the game rolls back, and that you kind of run out of, like, you swear you're like, I know that I did this, and then that poofs, and you're really confused about why you no longer have whatever it is that you just bought. Yeah, there's a filling station. There's a filling station. Those are gas stations.
Were you saying something about like a fish market? Like, is there like a big version of the fish?
There is a big version of the fish market.
Oh, is this it? Here we go. Oh, that's perfect. It only sells 100 a time, and we got way more than that. I'm gonna buy a. Yeah, I'm buying a fish market.
Okay. You can buy whatever you like. You could even have a large fry. Yeah, I am. The very younger years, my formative years, as you would say, I didn't actually live with my mother. I lived with my grandparents, and my grandmother was a hoarder, and so I grew up kind of the first 10 years. You know, like I remember waking up with like bugs in my hair and face and mouth and stuff. So there was not kind of an appreciation for keeping things nice. You know, all the stuff that I got came from like a flea market, and generally was just kind of whatever they could find, and it was more so like they just kind of didn't know what to do with a kid. So, you know, moving in with my mom was a lot of was definitely a culture shock, because she is there's this old comedian who made a joke. It's like, neurotics build castles in the sky, psychotics live in them, and my mother cleans them. That's my mother. So she definitely has some OCD cleaning things going on, and that's not me. I am not an OCD cleaning person ever. So yeah. think we could actually like recycle these vegetable stands.
At this point, yeah, totally.
Get some money back for 'em and stuff. And the same thing with the fruit stands, because we've got the
Yeah.
bigger versions.
Yeah.
Since we just got the fish market. Fantasy Star Online too. What do you think is wrong with it, Red? Or is it just kind of you're not sure if that's it's going to be a good game, or is it what's the
Yeah, Fantasy Star, that's an old series. Like, that's been around forever, but I've actually never played any of them. But yeah, I know that the Fantasy Star Online 2's been out for a little while, but it only more recently came out in the States. And I think they just, as if I'm remembering correctly, they just came out with that in the US. Like, I think, like, on Windows specifically, like, I think that's the deal, is that you can play it now on Windows. But I remember hearing some horror stories, like it's a bit of a nightmare to set up, although maybe they may have fixed that since I first heard about that. But I think the actual MMO's been going on for a little while, because I think it was one of those things that it came out in Japan and then it came out here sometime later, but I don't really know hardly anything about it. Oh, it's free to play. Interesting.
the joy of microtransactions.
Right.
We played WoW for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we played WoW actually right when Burning Crusade first came out, I think. Or maybe been out a little bit, but we first started playing it in that era, and I think we played through like a few expansions, and then we quit. And I think we revisited like maybe once or twice, but yeah, for the most part, we haven't really gone back. Oh, that's good. Yeah, good that they fixed the Windows launcher. That's good to know it's free to play. It might be worth at least checking out since it's free. Do you know, like, is it like other games that are free to play where even though it's free they kind of gimp the free? Like, is it one of those games that they have a subscription option that they give you like a ton of stuff if you subscribe, and kind of gimp your experience if you don't subscribe? So Ryan says, from what I've looked up, I haven't seen people complaining about microtransactions, which is odd. Very odd.
Yeah, that is very odd.
Yeah. May have to look into that one sometime.
That could be fun.
Always down for trying something new, although I tend to be more hit and run with games these days as opposed to staying in the... We got some bigger one coming up.
Oh yeah. Good stuff out for the what you call it? You know that place with the thing over in the corner and the trees? Yeah. Moving vegetables out of the orchard.
Yeah, I'll look into what's coming up, so sit here and harvest that for a bit.
Sweet.
I need to figure out what to plant next.
Well, we're playing for a while. Short crops are okay.
Yeah.
I've got.
Well, we may. Yeah, I mean, it may be.
Depends on when you want to break to go cook dinner.
Yeah, we may, because it's getting close to 5, so we need to wrap up before long.
We're making breakfast for dinner.
So what I may do is put something down that we can harvest like later tonight before dinner or something. Maybe I'll just put, I think I may put down some more radishes because that's a crop. I think that's what Sadly, I don't have enough time to play all the games that I want to play, but I understand the appeal of, playing the games you remember as a child. I mean, I think I definitely understand that. I know, for me, right, my games I played as a child date back to when I had like my Commodore 64, playing a lot of games on that, or like the original Nintendo. So, and I kind of love this little bit of a renaissance they had lately with like all these little devices coming out. Like you can get like the NES Mini, and they have like a Commodore 64 Mini, right? You can get that pretty Commodore. So it kind of gives a cool opportunity to go back and play some games. And I thought about streaming something like that, but I don't have a capture card just yet. That's
Spinach, dude. Sorry.
We need spinach?
Well, we don't need spinach, but it's level 1. We just got a
Oh,
quest
we
for
just got
broccoli,
it.
though.
Okay. Well, that's actually, no, that's fine, because I'm pulling, okay, got it. I'm pulling up, yellow peppers or some yellow peppers just came up, so I'm about to have a field here. I can throw some stuff down.
Behold the field in which I lay my funks.
Yeah.
See, and it's really interesting for me because I didn't get my first I had an Atari 2600, and my grandparents got a Commodore for going to some MLM marketing vacation whatever thing, and then they put it in the closet and said they were going to keep it for good, and
they did.
And they did, so that meant it never got used. And
yeah,
I didn't even get a computer until I was 26 years old.
I'm still salty about me losing my Commodore. I don't know what happened to it, and that makes me very sad. It's like I still have my disk drive and a bunch of old floppy disks that are probably all dead by now, but I do not have my actual computer. You said we needed broccoli, right?
Yes, we just got a quest for
I
broccoli.
don't think it's up right now.
It's not.
Okay. Well, that'll have to wait.
Yeah, 70 broccoli, low tire, necktie.
Alright. Well, actually we're we're kind of getting broke. I just realized that. We're not totally broke, but we have 54K, which is like a drop in the bucket compared to like the 2 million we started today.
Especially when you consider how much it costs to feed them fucking animals.
Good God. Let's see if I can find something low level and cheap, which are not radishes and spinach.
Okay. It's fair.
So let me see what. I need to check again what we're still trying to level up. I think we threw down chili peppers. Or no, wait. Did we throw down chili peppers or?
Pretty sure we threw down chili.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see what else do we need. Oh, cabbage. Cabbage is cheap.
Yes.
We need cabbage. So that's perfect. That's what I'm doing. No, this is not an empty field. Not an empty field. It's just what's planted in it is extremely slow. Oh, but this field's empty. Alright. Cabbages.
That is the field closure. Capture card if I was closer, decent enough. Yeah, I think it's more so like John's thing is like every time I jokingly refer to him streaming as his midlife crisis. I don't actually think it's his midlife crisis. I think that John just needed a hobby and didn't have one. And so streaming's kind of become his hobby. But he doesn't want to spend any money on it, even though we could happily go get him an Elgato card if he wanted one. He's just worried about spending the money on it if it's a hobby.
Well, it was more the like I didn't want to like do this for 2 weeks and quit. I mean, I've actually been
You're
streaming.
planning your 50th stream.
Yeah, well now I am. I mean, but I'm saying this is going back to when I started. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend like $500 on equipment and then stream reading and quit, right? Like that's what I was trying to avoid. But no, I mean I've done like 25 episodes now, right? So I think I'm a little more amenable now than I was when I first started, at least. But yeah, I just have to research the capture cards. But yeah, I have some of the different minis too. I got the Super Nintendo and the regular Nintendo. I got the PlayStation one. I didn't get the Genesis and actually I didn't know there was a game. Actually, I didn't know there was a Game Gear Mini. I think I completely missed that one. Some of those systems I didn't have, so I didn't pay as much attention to. Oh, I'm out of gas. I gotta find gas. Oh, our Gucci period. Alright. I'm just having too many hobbies in the time. I don't know. Like work keeps me busy enough that I don't. Like I find it hard to play a lot of games. I think what I like about the stream format I picked, right, doing this 60-minute gaming is it's a good way to try out a lot of games without a huge time investment, because most of, my challenge is there's a lot of really good games out there that I like, but my problem is I'll get into a game, I have 1,000 games in my Steam backlog. I pick one game and it ends up being like some open world game or an MMO or something, and I'll spend like 100, 200 hours in one game. And it's a good game and it's a good experience, but then it's like, you've played one game. And that's sometimes the problem, right? There's a lot of games that I would play, but I avoid them because it's like, man, I don't have 30, 40, 100 hours to sink into it. I was a big Final Fantasy fan growing up. I really, I enjoyed Final Fantasy VII. It wasn't the first one that I played, but it was a favorite. And of course now they have the remake out, and I've not touched it because I know that that's going to be like a huge
time sink.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure it's at least a good 30, 40 hours, and I'm like, well, I'd rather do 30 streams of 30 games, different games. I think for me, that would be more fun. Now, not all the games I stream are good. I definitely, it's definitely a mixed bag, but I've come across some surprises for sure, which is, I think, part of the fun. I kind of like when you don't know what you're gonna get.
My favorite is when I come in here afterward and he's still playing it, like after the stream ends. And you're just like, apparently you liked that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a few games where I was really sad when my hour was up, for sure. I'm gonna beat this damn level. Okay. Well, it's like, yeah, while playing, I know with Star Trek the other night, I was like, man, I want to at least get through the first chapter and see where the story ends up. Yeah, I've had a few of those games for sure. All right, I think we're good on the plants.
I'm pretty sure that my life is a midlife crisis.
Oh, so rad.
Yellow hibiscus, by the way.
What's that? Yellow hibiscus?
We have yellow hibiscus. Yes, we do. Okay. We only have 10 of them.
So, Rad is a big Final Fantasy fan, actually.
Yes.
Rad, my first Final Fantasy was number 4, which, of course, in the U.S. it was number 2. But number 4 Japan. That was on the Super Nintendo, and that was the first. That was my first exposure to Final Fantasy, and I loved it. But oddly enough, I never played 6. Right, so 6. So the weird Final Fantasy versioning number, right? So Final Fantasy VI in Japan was Final Fantasy III in the U.S. Because they skipped Final Fantasy V in the U.S. for whatever reason, right? So they went straight to 6. And I've always heard how awesome that game was, and I never played it. My problem was back then, in those days, like back, I didn't really have the disposable income to blow $60 on a game, and so I never played. I never played Final Fantasy III, but then by the time Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation came out, it was a little bit easier for me to get games, and so at that point, I kind of played them all since. But I've played most of them. I got a little. The only thing with me that I started getting behind on Final Fantasy, I didn't play. I was really slow into getting into the MMOs. And yeah, you know what? I've heard a lot of people say Final Fantasy VI is their favorite. I definitely understand that. I've heard really good things about it, and it's just one of those things. Like I've thought about going back and playing it. I tried once. It's just again time. Time is my natural enemy.
I've never played a Final Fantasy game. I watched John play 12. And
I think
was
you
the map
briefly.
holder.
I think technically you very very briefly tried 14, the MMO with me,
Yes.
and you didn't get into it.
Didn't get into it.
But I don't know that I consider the MMOs really. I mean, they're Final Fantasy games, but they're not. I don't know that I call them typical Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
I didn't. Where I started falling behind on Final Fantasy was the sequels. Like I played 10, but I never played 10-2, and then I played 13, but I didn't play the. I didn't play 13-2 for the longest time. Eventually I did, and then I never did get around to playing Lightning Returns. Let's see. So Jake says 7's still good, but I agree it's not as good as people seem to make it. So I think 7 is just very nostalgic for people. I think is what it is. Because a lot of people grew up with 7.
7 was their first one, is what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I get it. There's definitely nostalgia there. The game may not have aged well, but it does make me curious about the remake. I would be curious. I bet the remake's pretty good, but I haven't played it, and I've tried not to really spoil myself about it because I know they've made some changes, and I kind of don't want to know. I don't really want to know what they've done. In case I do play it, I prefer to be surprised. So I'm gonna stay mum on that. Yeah, I know a lot of people like 9. 6, 7, and 9 are the ones that I most commonly have heard that people like. I have a soft spot for 12, which is a little bit of an unpopular opinion. I think most people did like. There's some people that really get into 12, but I think a lot of people kind of were pretty meh with 12. But I got into 12 pretty good. So 13, I hated. The first time I played 13, I hated it. I hated it so much that I put it aside and I didn't play it again for years. And I eventually picked it back up on the PC and I played it and enjoyed it more the second time. And I played 13-2 and enjoyed it fine. But I still haven't gotten around to playing. I have Lightning Returns, but I still haven't gotten around to playing it yet. And actually one of my big regrets, I forgot this 10. I never finished 10. I played 10. I got like 30 hours into 10 and I never finished it. And that has always bugged me. Like I've always wanted to go back and finish that. And I think one day I'm going to pick that up. Like I know they've got the Zodiac Age now on Steam that you can get it. And I'm just kind of waiting on it to go on a really good sale and I'll probably pick it up. But of course that doesn't mean I'll have time to play it. But I feel a need to make up for that particular regret and finish it one day. Yeah, 11 and 14 were the MMOs. I never played 11. I just wasn't really into. Never really had any interest in it. I think it's still around. I think people, I think it's kind of one of those, like, with a lot of the older MMOs, they kind of have like a niche following that kind of keeps it going. So it's still popular enough to keep running. Now I always found the story behind 14 interesting because they came out with 14 and it was apparently not very good to the point that they shut it down and essentially redid it. Maybe not all the way from scratch, but they shut it down and like revamped it and reintroduced it, and it was actually pretty good. Like they had, a lot of people actually think very highly of 14. I tried playing that with Tasha, but she was not that into it, and you know, it was okay. Like I didn't really dislike it, but you know, at this age, like I'm not gonna get into an MMO without Tasha because what's the point? You know, I got plenty of other games I can check out. So that was sort of no, it's fine. Like I say, you know, there are I don't get too hung up on it because you know there's so many other things out there that and it's you know yeah I don't have any real attachment to you know to it. Yeah, Rad 12, and see, I think a lot of people felt that way about 12, and that's why I say I think I'm in the minority of the people. 12.
I don't know. I think that I enjoyed 12. Poor John, though. John got stuck with me when he's playing 12, and I'm sitting there with like the hint guide and the map going, okay, you go here and here and here. But I would make him switch. He could have one character that he wanted, and then he either had to play with Balthier or he had to play with Fran. He had no other option if I was in the room because I loved Balthier's actor and voice, and it was like, oh baby, and I loved Fran's ass.
Yes.
So you either gotta
many
watch.
hours were spent looking at Fran's.
Yes.
Fran's
Many
ass.
hours were spent looking at Fran's ass. So.
So, Rad, what did you think of the most recent Final Fantasy 15? I did play that. I haven't played any of the DLC, but I didn't get it when it first came out, but I got it when they came out with the Windows version of it. I picked it up at that point. I won't say that 15 was like my favorite or anything, but I enjoyed it pretty well. I know for some people they didn't get into it well as much. I think some people didn't like the road trip aspect of it. But I kind of thought it was fun actually. But I didn't play. I just played the main story, and that was all I did. So I do think it was a shame though, because it sounded like they had more DLC planned, and then they never ended up releasing it. I guess I don't really know what happened there. I'm guessing it just wasn't as popular. I guess it wasn't as popular as they were hoping, so they didn't end up investing in the DLCs. Not a fan of 15. Got it. So what was it about 15 that turned you off, right? Like, was it the story that that you didn't find yourself getting into? Yes, you can play and experience all of 15 without downloading anything and never downloading a patch. Your day one crown jewel patch and tons of cut story DLC determined that this was a lie. Yeah, I feel like they obviously didn't. You know, like I say, I feel like they obviously had broader plans for it that got cut short, and I do think that was a shame. I mean, just separating out the what didn't happen from what did. You know, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I definitely kind of understand the, you know, not liking it for what it wasn't. But yeah, definitely kind of a shame though. But I'm also, I think, you know, I have such a complicated relationship with DLC. What I have found happen with many games out there is that I end up just not playing DLC a lot. I think what happens a lot of times, especially with longer games, is I play, you know, I sink like 30, 40 hours into a game, and I beat it, and I'm good. Like I'm like, all right, time to play something else. I don't want to turn around and go in and like play another 20-hour DLC. Let's see, the story is all over the place. Magic was useless. Summons were pointless if you even met the requirements to use them. And then there was the point I never died once. I never felt like I was in danger in any battle. Yeah, come to think of it, I think death for me was pretty rare. The day one patch added a big chunk of story in literally every cutscene. You know, now that you mention it, Reds, I remember not liking the magic system. Like, I kind of didn't like the whole, like, having to, like, the way that you had to kind of go and recharge your magic. Like, on one hand, I guess I can appreciate they were trying to do something different with it, because they always try to change up their systems every game, but I felt like it kind of discouraged the use of magic, and it definitely, I felt like it was more of a backseat. Summons I just found confusing, as I recall, and I think at the end of the day I did not end up using them very often. So yeah, I mean, I think Rad has definitely some good points about why that game was not as successful as it could have been. Which, and you know, in all fairness, that's probably why they never bothered going with the DLC, right? So, kind of like Mass Effect Andromeda, it's like people didn't get into it, so they just kind of said, oh, it's car losses.
Oh, let's just not talk about that game. Let's just not talk about Andromeda.
Yeah, Rad, I remember, you know what, I am there with you. I too remember when DLC was called expansions. I kind of miss those days. Kind of like back when you didn't have day one patches because the game
It's finished.
The game was kind of expected to work when you shipped it, you know, because you didn't have. I mean, okay, there was an era where you had the internet, but people hadn't started using the internet yet, you know, for like huge patches, right? So, you know, you had pre-internet games that came on a cartridge and they bloody well better work, right? And then you had games where it was like, okay, it's feasible to have a patch, but it still wasn't like we're gonna put out. You're gonna buy half the game and then have a day one patch that's like half the size of the game. You know, that like they've just gotten kind of a bit. I don't know. I think on one hand I call it lazy, but on the other hand, I also realize that modern game systems have gotten complicated enough that you can't realistically expect to have a bug-free game anymore because, you know, that's just not a realistic expectation. So yes, you have to have patches, but no, I'm you know, I miss when I miss when DLC were called expansions, and expansions were meaningful and often as big as the game itself. And you know, that is an era. But yeah, I find myself not playing DLC. Best example I can come up with actually is The Witcher. Right? I love like Witcher 3, loved it, loved Witcher. Absolutely a phenomenal game. But by the time I finished it, I did not have any
energy left.
I had nothing. Yeah, I'm just like and to this day, I still have not played either of the expansions. Right. And it was another one that's the same way was Grand Theft Auto. Right. Actually, interesting, with Grand Theft Auto 5, they didn't bother with single-player DLC, but like with 4, they came out with a couple of different DLC for that, and it was the same thing. I didn't bother. Like, I beat 4 and I'm done, right? I'm like, that's it, I'm good. With 5, they have all this multiplayer. Never played it, right? I played 5, I beat the story, I'm done. I'm like, that's it. I don't need to play all the multiplayer DLC. I'm good, you know. Okay, so for the record, Red, we didn't dislike Andromeda, but it's.
Here's what I always say: Andromeda was a good game. Andromeda was not a good BioWare game.
I will say that had they continued to support it, I would have absolutely bought story. I would have bought some story DLC for it just to see it continue going, but alas, it was not meant to be. But no, I don't. It just wasn't.
I mean, I played the whole bloody thing.
I felt like it wasn't a bad game, but maybe not the best Mass Effect game.
Yeah, that's why I always say it was not a good BioWare game, because it did not go to their normal standard. In terms of yeah, exactly. So now it's like you have the Bethesda problem, where it's like Bethesda puts out terrible games. Skyrim, I'm not a Skyrim fan. I don't think Skyrim was a good game, mostly because I like story, and that's why I found Andromeda weak, because I found that their story was weak. They had a good premise, but they didn't realize it. And so, yeah, I mean, basically you sit there and you have a whole bunch of these games that get put out because the publishers above them are going, oh yeah, we have to get this game out for, Christmas or for Memorial Day or for whenever. And so, yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. I feel like
I didn't cry at the end of it like I did at the end of Mass Effect 3, but, a whole nother story. John, where is your persimmons? I have lost the persimmons. I know I moved everything around.
I don't
know what a
remember
persimmon looks like.
Oh, I put them down. I know they're in there because I remember putting.
I got one persimmon.
Okay.
It doesn't look like any other tree.
I think what makes me sad about Bethesda and BioWare, they're awesome. I think what makes me sad about Bethesda and BioWare is just the fact that, like, every game they put out, I've liked less than the game before.
Yeah.
And that trend hasn't stopped, and it just makes me sad. Like, and obviously that's not their intent. They want to keep making good games, but it just happens that it's like, I mean, like, Bethesda, this trend's been going on for a while. Like, there was Oblivion, and then Skyrim.
Loved Oblivion. Oblivion's one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah.
Gray Fox, best West.
But Skyrim wasn't as good as Oblivion. Fallout 3 was okay, but Fallout 4 was like not. I didn't like Fallout 4 nearly as much as I liked Fallout 3, and especially New Vegas.
Well, New Vegas wasn't put out by them either. It was put out by Obsidian.
Yep.
Which is why it was good.
And then, God, Fallout 76, Fallout 76 is just not a good game. But anyway, but BioWare, same thing, right? Like, their Mass Effect games, like, I'm still, okay, minority opinion, Mass Effect 1, I think, was my favorite, and most people will say Mass Effect 2. Um, and I understand why, because it made improvements to the first one, but nothing will beat the first one for me because it was the first. Like,
Yeah.
they did a wonderful job of world building in that game that will never, like, that was like one of their most phenomenal games ever. But so to me, 2 wasn't quite as good as 1, but still good. 3 was not as good as 2 because the ending kind of ruined it a little bit, but it was still a good game. But like, Andromeda wasn't as good as 3, and then they went and did Anthem, and it's like Anthem just, I don't know. It's like, I feel like sometimes these companies get away from what worked, right? It's like I sometimes feel like these companies are doing what they're, the bosses, the publishers are coming and saying, we want these long tail games. We want these games as a service games, right? We want you to make these kind of games, and they're not the games that people want. And then they put out the games, and people don't like them, and they wonder why.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't mean to sound so negative about it, but I've just seen it as a little bit of a trend, and it's like I sometimes just get a little disappointed. It's like I wish BioWare would just go back to doing what worked, which was they made these phenomenal single-player role-playing games that were just great, like, Dragon Age, right? I'm like, please don't mess up Dragon Age 4. I know they're working on it. They haven't said much about it. They're staying quiet about it, but it's like,
they're working on it.
They do some great storytelling. It's like, man, just focus on that and quit trying to make these Destiny clones, right? Quit trying to make
Destiny. Destiny's not gonna work.
Well, it's just, they just need to realize that that's not what people are coming to them for, right? And they came out with this game that was like a Destiny clone with some kind of weak story. They tried to kind of put their storytelling in it, but they kind of failed. It just wasn't quite. Hey, Richard Doc, nice of you to join us.
Hey. We're on a tear. Just gonna warn you now.
Ranting, yeah,
we're ranting
a little bit about
game development.
About game companies we love that have kind of not been putting out such good games lately.
But yeah, and New Vegas was the Obsidian Games Fallout team, and they did a great job on it. I wish they would let them take a whole bunch of other ones. I love the Mako. I am the world's worst Mako driver. I actually had to headcanon the fact that the reason I took Rex and Kaden everywhere is because they were the only two that could stomach my Shepherd's driving. We pretty much just play with each other, which sounds really terrible, but that's because we're married, and yeah. I don't know that we've gotten into the social aspect of farming together yet.
Yeah, we're actually pretty new players at this, so we've been playing this maybe like a couple of weeks so far. So
see, and that's my issue, Brad, is I play games for the stories. Like, I want something between a game and an interactive book. Which is why I used to love Bethesda so much. And why I think that or not Bethesda, but BioWare, why I love BioWare so much. Why they've kind of, fallen a little bit in my esteem lately. Because they have kind of gotten away from some of those stories that I love that they've written. I mean, Dragon Age 3 was well done. Withered Tree.
Oh, mushrooms. Oh, is that a new tree we got?
Yeah, we actually got a couple of new trees.
Nice.
No, we're just farming together, so we're making stories for that one. I don't know. I even made up a story. One of my friends, we were playing 7 Days to Die, and she's like, of course it's still in alpha, and it's been in alpha for like I don't know, 17 years it feels like. But she was like, we need a story, and I was like, all right, fine. So I like diggy holes in there, and so basically my story was, well, I'm convinced that I'm in hell, and I'm gonna die 666 times to prove it, because I died like, I don't know, 21 times in like 3 hours, and none of them were to cave-ins though somehow. So that was my decision. Was my dad was a coal miner and I was a circus strong woman, I think is what it was, right, John? And my goal was to die alive. So. Oh yeah, that's my Red Dead. I haven't played either of the Red Deads.
So Richard, have you been playing Farm together for very long? Like I was saying, Tasha and I, we're both pretty new at this, so we've only been playing for a couple of weeks, but it's been pretty fun so far. Yeah, Red, your opinion, you're not alone in your opinion of Red Dead 2. Like, I don't know that...
I don't know why everybody loves it.
I don't know why I wouldn't... Well, I know... I played it, like, one night, and then I haven't gone back into it. But I know for some people, I remember one of the common complaints was it was just the pacing was very slow, and it just kind of, like, it just, I think... It just kind of almost felt like a chore to play, which is not a, you know...
Did you plant broccoli?
I did plant some... I planted at least a little bit of broccoli, but...
I have a quest for broccoli.
I would plant more broccoli.
I don't know that I have anywhere to.
Yeah, that's why I didn't plant more at the time, because I didn't have...
Let me see if I can find a place to plant.
Well, I just uncovered a place, so I'm going to throw some more down.
Drive around and see. It's popped too. It's chili peppers are popped.
Oh, nice. Maybe we'll finally get our level 10 of those.
Shit, I think we need like level 15 of this one. Not enough money.
Oh, shoot, I broke us on broccoli. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't know, I got some other things too, so. I bought some trees.
I'm so glad that gas does not cost money in this game. we would be in trouble.
So hard.
We really would. Okay, oh, looks like I've got some cabbages coming up. Yeah, broccoli is unfortunately expensive.
Why is broccoli expensive? Broccoli's not supposed to be expensive. This shit's expensive.
Alright, we got our lovely sugar.
Got some cabbage levels. This is good.
We shall see. What else do we need to get levels in?
I don't know. We got broccoli for a quest. I think we need like 70 broccoli.
Oh, so we unlocked jalapeno pepper.
Ooh.
And now we need to level that up to 10.
Gotcha.
I don't know if we can plant it right now, but that's what we unlocked. I don't think it's in season. Okay. I'm still trying to actually find it on my...
Jose Jalapeno, honesty.
Yeah, I see. I totally can't find it, but anyway, so... Okay, so we need to level cabbage up to 12, so I'm going to plant some more cabbages, because they are cheap, and,
I swear I had some more down, but it's not going to hurt us to have more cabbages.
yeah.
A lovely bunch of cabbages.
Oh, wait, I may not. I think cabbages went out of season. I wish there was a way to filter by what I need that's in season.
Yeah.
That's kind of an advanced filter there, but you know.
It is a little bit of an advanced filter, John. It's a piece of broccoli. How much it gonna cost? $10.
Red. Okay, so we need to get red.
Wish it was $10.
What about red pine?
It costs $5,000 to plant broccoli.
Yeah. Oh man, we don't have red pine mushrooms up either. Dang it. Got all these things we need that I can't plant.
Well, I'm gonna go see if we've got any.
All right, we still
How
need.
many gold nuggets we've got?
We need tomato.
Let's go to the pawn shop.
All right. I'm gonna plant some tomatoes.
Apparently we have 28 gold nuggets at the moment.
Oh, nice! I kind of forgot about.
So I'm gonna
those.
trade 10 of them and get 100K.
Actually, I thought you only had to trade one to get 100.
No, it's 1 for 10.
Oh, it's 1 for 10. Well, still, I mean, we got 28, so that's good. I actually completely forgot about those.
See, it's why you keep me around, because I remember things. And then I spend all your money, both in real life and in this game. Swash.
Yeah, so Rad was saying the same thing I heard about the pacing being really slow in Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's I remember that's exactly what that jives with what I heard. And it's such a shame because I loved the first one so much. The first one was one of my absolute favorite games ever. I really want to like the second one, but I think I still may play it someday, but that may be something I wait till it comes out on the PC. Well, it is out. I'm sorry, it is out on the PC. I think what I meant to say was, and gets cheap, so I'll probably wait like a year or two and get it when it's like $20 or something, and then maybe I'll give it another try at that point. But yeah, it's totally get where you're coming from, Brad, though, on your opinion. And like I say, I actually don't think your opinion is as unpopular as you say it is. Cool, I got some chili peppers coming out.
Plant some black.
Yeah,
cheaper than the tiny trees.
Oh, there's jalapeno. Jalapeno is up. I'm gonna plant a leaf. They're kind of pricey, so I'm just gonna plant like a few to start with. Actually. Yes.
I don't know. I just got down to like.
Oh God, you got us down to 44. Was this after? Have you cashed in the?
Yeah.
That was after you cashed. Oh my God. Well, 100K sure doesn't go a long way anymore, does it?
Not when you're planting peppercorns.
Oh man. I miss the days of having 2 million.
Well, but now we've got a whole bunch more trees, and we've got a whole bunch more peppercorns. We got rain.
I'd have to sell some more grapes here. Oh, time to sell some veggies too, for that matter.
He has an obsession with veggie selling.
Well, I have an obsession with having free inventory space.
Talk about it this way. Hold up. This is the dumbest thing ever. I'll leave it. Well, we made our diamonds back. And I think I watched John play the first Red Dead.
Sell some spice.
Oh, red pine mushrooms are up now.
Okay.
Thanks for those.
Are those cheap?
Probably not.
Let's see what the store has to say. I see nothing.
$4.50 each, I think.
Is this them? Yes. Yeah, $4.50. That's cheap. Yeah, that's cheap.
wish 450 was cheap in real life.
So say we all. I wish I had 2 million in real life.
Shit, yeah.
See, I need to sell flowers. We still have a lot of flowers. And a decent bit of wool. So we're going to sell that. Okay.
Lovely out back of the pagoda is our cauliflower and mushroom farm. Smells like it. And peppercorn.
Some cabbages. I may have to wrap this up pretty soon because
Yeah, big dinner.
I still gotta make dinner. And we've actually been streaming, getting on to 3 hours now. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. Anywhere close. Alright, I'm just gonna throw down a few more mushrooms in this little spot.
Did you find the red pine ones?
Yes.
Cauliflower, white sword. I think we got one now. Should hit
And
There you go.
lost mushrooms because the season changed.
Oh, but your jalapenos are up now.
They were up before.
Oh.
That's why we're broke. We have some. I mean, you planted some and I planted some.
Look at the quest log.
I don't know if it's enough, but
Yeah, we planted 129. We needed 70.
oh, okay. Well, we win.
We're doing good on the broccoli. Bourbon red turkey. I don't think we have any bourbon red turkeys, do we?
We probably have like one, maybe. I know I don't know. Actually, I haven't done an animal check today. I periodically do the animal checks where I make sure we have at least one of everything, but I haven't done that today.
They are 12.5K each.
Well, we're gonna have to harvest what we got before we buy more animals.
Well, yes, obviously.
Can't afford jack right now, so. But I'm thinking this may be a good place to stop for now, because I don't think we have anything to harvest. We don't have any money to spend. Is there anything we need to wrap up?
So, you got a lot of fences to move
Eh,
at some point.
yeah. I don't need to do that right now. Alright, but anyway, but yeah, I hope everybody's kind of enjoyed our introduction to Farm Together.
Donkeys!
This is definitely a
Donkeys!
very relaxing game. I think it's a lot of fun. Very casual game, but you know, I think that this is kind of a good one. And you know, you don't have to play it multiplayer. It's just as fun, I think, single player. But you know, it's very easy to play with friends if you want to. I like the very kind of no hassle setup. You know, if you're Steam friends, you can pretty much join each other's games, and that's pretty much it. So. So yeah, this one definitely gets the thumbs up, and yeah, Tasha and I will continue to definitely play this. I don't know yet what we're gonna do for our next divorce stream. I know it won't be next weekend because we're gonna be having company, so it'll I probably won't have the special stream next weekend. But 2 weeks from now, we could do this again. We also. We had that 7 Days to Die game that we started. I kind of, you know, we've talked about getting back to that so that we can get to the first Blood Moon together. So that's
Which, honestly, depending on how next week's stuff goes, that may actually happen next week with all the friends.
that would be cool,
which
actually.
would be interesting. I don't know how well it would stream having everybody in the same room, but it could be chaotically interesting.
It could. Well, and you know, if it comes down to it, I will definitely give it the try. I'll see if I can make it work. Um,
So
I think that would be an interesting experiment, though, to see like I've got the 2-player split screen. It would be really interesting to see if I could actually get like 4-player 7 days stream together. I think that would be a very interesting thing to experiment with if we could actually get the people to do it. So we'll just have to see. But you know, that's why I don't put these weekend streams on my schedule. They're like bonus streams. So I will be back. I think the other thing, I think that I'm going to cancel my regular stream for Monday because I want to kind of have a night with Tasha before she goes out of town for a couple of days. But what I'm going to do to make up for it is Wednesday, my next regular stream, I'm going to do a double header because my next game that I'm streaming is Shenmue 1 and 2. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a double header on Wednesday, and I will spend 1 hour streaming Shenmue 1, and then we'll go into Shenmue 2. And we'll just have a double header for that stream. So so on that note, definitely thank you everyone for joining, and I will hope to see you all on Wednesday. So
Peace.
all right, bye everyone, have a good one.
I'm gonna harvest some soybeans.